this obviously wasn't Couture Creations materials, papers, but we will be using those shortly, which will be equally as lovely as this one. So we've got a little thing on the top, a little catch on the top, which you can open from either side. And we've got this beautiful oval, round box, circular box. Great present to put gifts, great for putting gifts into. Closes quite nicely. I've just put a little butterfly embellishment, a metal one that I had. That is a Couture Creations one, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, so let's get to it. Let's go and have a go at making this. So you are going to need, over on the Couture Creations blog site, you will find a list of all the supplies once this goes up onto their blog site. I'm not sure what the date is for that, but you are going to need, I used 6 7-inch circles. So these are for the inside. So I'll try and match these up. Yep, so these two belong together and these two belong together. Okay. So it doesn't matter which side you use. You could even just use these sides if you wanted to. But keep your circles together so that you know which ones go where. So I'll explain that a little bit later on. But these are our 2 big circles. So I have taken, I haven't got it on there, but I cut out an extra circle out of just some plain white 280 gram cardstock, and we're going to cut these in half the same as those. These ones I had previously cut in half, but then I thought I wanted something a little bit sturdier, so I added the cardstock. So first off, we're going to grab our circles and I'm going to show you how to cut them in half. So I'm going to lift up our arm on our guillotine, and what I want to do is make sure that the top of my circle is at the top of here, and I want to take notice of what's on the side here. So what we're going to do, we've got a 7-inch circle and we're going to go to 3.5, which is, and make sure you're lining that up properly, 3.5, which is about there. Okay, so now I just want to double check that. So now I'm going to, I've got 3.5. Maybe this comes out just a little bit more. Okay, so now I'm going to cut my piece in half, and that bottom piece didn't cut very well. Well, that's a bugger. Okay, let me see if I can fix that. No, I'll leave it like that. So obviously this didn't cut very well on here. I do have a Cricut machine, and so I had to cut all mine out on my Cricut machine, which does make my life a lot easier. So just making sure I've got that lined up properly. 3.5. Make sure that's sitting right. Make sure that's sitting right. Okay, and that one sort of ripped a bit too. My blade might need a little bit of sharpening. It's not going to matter too much. So now we have 2 pieces for the front and the back. So these will be the fronts and the backs of our bag. Next, I'd like you to put those aside, but keep them together in what parts they are. Put them over there. Then we're going to grab our, what lengths were these? These were 11 3/4 inches by 4 inches. And I've scored them on the 1/2 inch and 3.5 inches. So you want it top side up, score on either side at 1/2 inch and 3.5 inches. So that'll give you a 1/2 inch panel down the side. What I did next was I marked off approximately 2.5 inches on this end. We will sort of cut up further, but this is just...
I did get those measurements wrong. It was 1/2 inch and 3 3/4 inches that needed to be at.
This one. So what I did was, our first cut, I want to sort of have, see how I've got this one a little bit square? So I want to leave just come down away from that corner a bit and just cut in like that. and then we're just going to create our triangles up to that score line all the way along, and this is so that we can put it around our circles and make it work really well. Just makes it a lot easier. So this is a little bit time consuming, so I will try and fast forward the video in this section if I can, but it shouldn't take too long to do. The cuts don't have to be even or anything like that. You do want to try not to go over that score line. You want to just take it up to the score line. These will become the sides of our bag or our gift box, whichever way you like to call it. You could make this into a bag and add a ribbon to it. I'm not going to do that today. Get it like that, nearly there. So this is our Lucky Country, our new Lucky Country papers. You get 3 designs in the large book. I'll show you that in a moment. I'll just finish cutting this out and I'll grab it and let you have a look. There's quite a few designs that this would work for, and I just really enjoyed it. I just thought this was a really nice project. A lot of steps, but it's not a hard project to do, so anybody could do this. It wouldn't be a big drama. I'm just going to cut straight across there for the minute, just in case I want to use that one, if it's the right length. So I'm just going to pop these aside for a moment, and so that we get everything sort of done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decide on which one of these is going to be my, that one's there, okay. So these are our first 2 pieces, our front or our back piece. So we need to join these to here. So what we need to do is we need to fold these over. Oops, fold all of these over. Just fold them down onto that score line. Do it on this side too at the same time. Just grab my bone folder and I'll just sort of smush them down a little bit just so they fold down nicely. Same along this side. Coming towards me is a little easier. Okay, so what I'm going to do next, so this, we're going to attach this so that it fits around our piece, like so. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put the glue onto the board itself. So I've got some Couture Creations All-Purpose Art Glue. And I'm just going to put, I don't want a lot on there, just a little bit around, all the way around. Okay, sit that there, and I'm going to join my first piece, that sort of flattish piece that I showed you in the beginning. I'm just going to join that one up first, make sure it's just sitting on the edge, just gradually work my way around so that we've got a nice finished edge on our box. You want to make sure it goes right back up to the edge. Just keep turning it around. I'm just going to keep turning this around as I go so I can see where it's sitting. You might get a little bit of glue there, that's okay. We can just wipe that up at the end. Just going to fold these ones up as well because it's sort of stopping me from getting my shape right. So I'm just going to grab my bone folder in here because I've got this part here right. I'm just going to smush that down a bit. Hopefully it'll give me just that little bit of leverage that I needed. So as you can see, I'm just pushing that back up to the edge of our box. I'm going to move this around. Okay, so I can see that we need to cut some more of this, so I'm going to put mine to there. I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm just going to cut straight across, like so. And then I'm just going to cut the rest of my triangles out on this, and we'll do the same for the other piece as well once we get to it. So I'm just cutting these out at the moment. Let's take that off there, and that's about, yep, that works perfectly. So I'm just going to add a little bit more glue because my glue's sort of dried up a bit underneath here. We're just going to push that back. And just make sure we've got these sitting nicely in place. So this way we get a nice clean edge on our box. Okay, so that's how, that one's not over far enough. There we go. When we're finished, we won't see all of this stuff in here. So now I'm just going to eyeball this a bit, and I'm going to cut out the rest of the pieces for this one here, because I sort of kind of know where it needs to go. So we've got about 1/2 inch at the top here. It might make it easier to cut these out before I actually come out there. I'm just going to move this one across and leave it like that. Okay, so that should, might need another little piece cut out, but that's okay. So now I'm going to take, so that was the, yeah, that's this piece. So this one will go on the other side. So now I'm going to take, this piece, which is going to go onto this side. Let me get this right here. So I'll have one on either side, and then we'll have the rest of it. Yeah. Okay, so this is going to go onto this side, and I'm just going to do the same thing again. I'm going to definitely put my glue on here now. Just a nice line of glue around the edge. And the same as what we did before, we're going to do again. And this will create the base of our bag, or our box. So let's lift this up here. I need this one to sit about there. Push this around. Okay, so try not to get my head in the way. I'm just trying to get this to all sit down nicely and there it needs to go. So essentially I've taken a piece from both halves of our, this is not down far enough. Okay, need to start from this side, I think. I need to cut another one if I need to. So we've taken a 1/2 piece from both sides of our circles, because this will be the bottom of our bag, of our box. As you can see, I'm just lining that up with the edge there. And I'm just going to line this bit up. I might need to cut another snippet off here just to bring it level with the box. Okay. So I'm just going to take my bone folder and smush it inside there just to make sure it's all adhered down very nicely. Check my edge. Haven't got any holes or anything there. I'm just going to cut off these two little tabs, and I'm just going to cut out the score line with it. So that's one piece and two pieces. So while we're at this stage, we may just grab our ruler, and I'm just going to put it across here and just move it forward just a little bit. So I'm just going to pull it forward just a little bit, and I'm going to grab a stylus and just score across that line. I'll just bend it forward, but I also want to make sure I bend this one backwards because this is essentially our hinge for our. That one might need a little bit more glue on it just in that spot. So make sure you double check, because sometimes you might get a few bits that might need a little extra glue on them, like that bit there. As I said, I've just decanted some of the all-purpose art glue from here into this little bottle because I find it easier to use. Okay, so I'll pop this back up. Okay, so there's the first half of our box done. That's Command Drift to. Hold on a minute. Okay, just pinch that in place. That one too may need a little bit more glue. On there, a little bit under there. Okay, that should work. So just make sure you get that all nice and level all the way around. Now we've got our hinged flap. Now we're going to do the other part of our box. So this time, so this piece is going to go inside the box and this piece is going to come over. So we need to have a look. So we've got one bird facing this way, one bird facing this way. So on this one, I believe this is the half red. Yes, it is. So that is going to go this way, I do believe. That will give. I just got to double check myself because I did make a small mistake with my last one by doing when I did this. So I know that's got to go that way. I know this piece has got to go that way, so it's got to go onto this side. So just double check what side it's got to go on. So this one needs to go onto this side. So I'm just going to fold these back like we did our last one because I haven't done it yet. Do this other side as well because we'll need it for the next one. So this will be the top of our box. Let me just move these in. Okay. So now it's got to go onto this side because that's the side it's going to come over. Yep. Okay, so now same thing again. We're going to grab our glue. We're going to put our glue all the way around. Okay, let's put the lid back on that. Now I'm just going to come back over here. I'm just going to flip this around a little bit. I'm going to start with the straight line on this first one. And gradually curve this around. Just want to make sure that first one gets adhered down quite well before I start playing with the rest of it. All those first little bits. Need to check around the side. I'm sorry if my head's in the way at this present point in time, but you will need to sort of get over your project a little bit and just to make sure you're getting it right up along that edge. And once again, we will have to snip off some more. So let's go. Well, I haven't got that all here adhered down. So once again, I think next time I'll just, I won't bother leaving this bit on the end now that I know what I'm doing with it. I will just automatically cut it. So now let's move this around. make sure that that's sitting down in the spot where we want it. Nicely up along the edge. Okay, let's bring this one round. Need a bit more blue. It is a little awkward, this. I'll be honest with you, it's a little awkward. Mainly because I'm trying to show you what I'm doing. I'm trying to keep my head out of the camera so that you can actually see what's happening. That one's not pressed down, that's better. Just move this one back a little bit just so that it levels up with that edge. Yep, that's better. So I'm just going to grab my bone folder and just gently push this out just a little bit. It's just not quite lining up where I want it to. Okay, so I need to make one more cut in this so that I can get that to sit lovely and even. And I'll just pop a little bit of glue on there. So I've just cut straight across so that that last piece will sit nicely against our top piece. Should have moved them off my desk first, but yep. Okay, so this was our 11 3/4 piece by 4 inches. We've scored it at 1/2 inch and at 3.5 inches across, with the 4-inch side being at the top of the scoreboard. We've cut out all of these little triangles up to a certain point so that we can adhere it around the circle. I'm going to cut this side out now. Cut the right way, Fiona, you'll be right. So we just get those little teeth pieces which will make it sit around the edge of our round gift bag much nicer. So again, I still may need to make one more cut at the very end like I did with the other one, with the other side. Now just take this one out here, and now we'll do the same thing again. We'll grab, this is the other side for this one. I'm just going to grab it and put it around here. So once again, grab our glue, put some around the edge. It's got a little skinny piece there hanging off in the bin. Okay, so once again, we're going to go around and start to attach our, let's start on this side, actually might be easier. So I'm just doing the same process we did before, only now I'm doing it in the reverse. I'm just trying to get it to attach properly. Let's get this first one done first. And get this all to sit down on there properly, I'll be right. Okay. It was sitting on there nicely. Okay. Let's get the bone folder in, I think. Just gently push around, make sure those tabs are sitting right down, right around the edge of your box. It needs to be pushed back just a little bit. This one needs to come in a little bit. Sorry, I'm probably out of camera shot there. Sorry about that. Okay, this bit here has been a little bit difficult. Let me check. This needs to come in a little bit, that one. So I've just got my finger underneath there and I'm just pushing that one forward a little bit. Just going to add a little bit more glue. It seems to be coming up. Okay, let's see if we can get this to sit right now. Okay, that's better. It's much better. So just another little smush. Okay, so now if we've got these two sides right, what will happen is this will actually fit onto here. And this, cut these two pieces off here because we don't need these little flappy pieces here. So 1, 2. So this piece will slot into here and this will come across here. There essentially is our box. So we'll get to fixing up the rest of this now. So this is the bottom half of our box, the part that I've put the glass on, and they're both on either end. So I'm going to start with this one. We're going to grab our 7.5, I do believe this is 7.5 inch by 1 1/4. And I'm just going to just slightly curve these ends. I'm only taking the smallest amount off. I just want to curve that round there like that and do the same on the other end. There we go. Do that on both of them. On both. Okay, so on our bottom piece, we're going to attach these. We're going to attach them, they're probably going to go about halfway. So figure out which is your front and your back and your contrasting colour. And I'm going to cover half of it with glue. And this is the Couture Creations All-Purpose Art Glue. This is probably a glue that I use the most with any of my projects that I do. Okay, so we're just going to slot that in there about halfway in. Beautiful. Now we're going to do the same on the other side with this piece. And the same thing, we'll slot it in about halfway. So this side's got to get glue on it. Okay. And just when you do this, just have a good look at it to see that you've got it reasonably. I'm just eyeballing this, but you want to make sure that you've got it sort of reasonably the same height on both sides. So I'm just going to stick mine like that, and I'm just going to have a look. This one needs to go down just a fraction. And because I'm using a wet glue, it does make it easier for me to use. So now I'm just going to add some pressure with my bone folder on both sides of these to make sure that it's really well adhered down. So now we have, this will help to keep our box opening and closing very well. So I'll put that in there, and that'll just sit over there like that. And I know with mine, because when I used my guillotine, it actually made this little piece stick out a bit. It didn't cut it quite as well as what it could. So what I'm going to do, we also have some 7.5. Actually, no, what we're going to do is we're going to put our hinged piece on next. No, we're not. No, we're not. Let's change this again. So, okay, so we've got our other two circles. These are going to line the inside of our box. So that'll cover up all of these bits that we have. And the reason I waited to put these on was because I wanted these pieces to actually be covered. So the only thing you're going to see is that little bit on the outside. The rest of it will look like our pieces. So, and it's up to you which way you go. So I could have these pieces on the inside, like so, or I can go like this and have these pieces on the inside. But I'm thinking I'm going to go with the green because I think I like it the best. Just make sure that your pattern pieces are the right ones. It just looks better that way. So I'm just going to pop that in there, and that's the piece for that. and these two pieces are for here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some glue to this side, so just around the edge, all the way around. Another thing I like about this glue is you don't have to use a big heap of it. It's a little goes a long way. So I'm going to pop it in, making sure I get it sitting nice and flat at the base of the box and making sure that's nice and even. I'm going to get my bone folder and just smush that in there so that it's a nice solid fit. Okay, so there's our first piece in. Now to do our next one, the same thing again, and you'll do that for all 4 pieces. Really making sure these corner pieces get a good amount of glue, because that's where the wear and tear will show the most when you're using these. Okay, now I'll pop this one in. Making sure it sits right down in there. Make sure it's straight. Yep. Okay, there's our box. So now we're going to do these 2 pieces, same as what we did with the other one. Okay, pop this one in. Oops, that's moved. Let's not do that, thank you. Bring these up. It's nice and flush with our top. That's it. It's one side done. Pop our other piece in. Like I said, this project's not hard, but it does have quite a few steps to it. And in the blog site, I've actually broken down those steps so that if you want a guide that you can actually read through rather than watching the video, you can do that. But I'm not sure whether my explanation is good enough in some areas when it's written. I think sometimes you may need to just refer to the video to understand those pieces. Okay, just making sure I get that nice and level. Beautiful. So now that's on the inside. Okay, so this is the base of our box. This is the top of our box. So we're going to adhere. We're going to actually put our sitting up a bit. We're going to actually sit our piece inside the box. This is our project so far. So let's join our hinge. So I'm going to grab some. I'm just going to snip off just a tiny little bit. I'm just making sure I'm getting rid of those score lines essentially, just so that it fits more snugly inside the box. Okay, and I'm putting a generous amount of glue on here. I did even think about putting double-sided tape on as well, but I didn't. I'm just going to slip that inside there. Make sure these go inside first. Poke my finger in there. Oh, it might be easier to go this way. That's it. So I really want to make sure that a bit of glue on my fingers. I want to make sure that that's really well adhered to our box. Okay, so that's done. Just make sure those pieces slip inside. So with these pieces, now that they're sort of a bit more secure in there and they're a little bit more dry, let's just run your fingers over it and just sort of curve them inside our box just a little bit. This will help it to close a bit better. Yeah, that's much better. Now, okay. Now my cut wasn't too straight because I don't know why, it just wasn't this time. So what I'm going to do now is we've got these gold pieces. These were just some mirror board. I think there's 210 GSM. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these on the top side, not on this side, on this side. And I'm just going to have them put on there. Again, I'm only going to use, I'm going to glue half of it on there. Now, I know these are a little bit longer than the box, but I deliberately done that because it is much easier to trim them off than it is to try and cut around the circle in the first place. So that's why I've made them the 7.5 inches long. So let's do this again. We're going to put half of it, we're going to put glue on. And this will help just to bring all of our project together. Okay, so that's the half on it. Spin this round this way. And I'm just going to smush that on there. You just tip it upside down a little bit. Just grab my bone folder and run up across there. And we're going to do the same on the opposite side. So I'm going to grab this one. Yep. So we're going to grab half, glue on half of it. So we're only gluing one side to the box. And so on those little edges where it didn't cut very well for me, I don't know what happened there, but you'll now have a more, nobody will see that little bit. The little mistake that I'd made. So this is quite a forgiving project as well in that regard. So if your joint's not real even, slide this, oops, slide this one back into here. Oh, excuse me for a minute. Okay, I'm back. That was my neighbour that had come over. She'd made some chocolate brownies and brought them over for myself and my husband, which was very lovely of her. Okay, so now we've got our two pieces that are on our box. These pieces, and that all fits nicely together. It looks nice. We're going to just trim these pieces off. So I'm going to close my box and just snip around that so it looks nice and snug. Same on the other side. Then on the top side, I'm going to do the same. That little bit there. Okay, and we're nearly done. This is the right side. So now we're going to create our closure. So where have I got those? So these are Couture Creations hook and loop spots, just Velcro dots in other words. So what I'm going to do is I've got a piece of, if I can get it open. I've got a piece of our gold and I've got a piece of our decorative paper. And this piece has just got a little bit of writing on it, so it's sort of like on this side of it. So what I'm going to do is grab some glue. I'm going to center this onto here, just eyeballing it. Okay. And if there's any glue left on here afterwards, you've got a little bit of glue on there and it's looking a bit funny, I'm just going to get a tissue of some sort and I will buff that out. Now our two circles. So the original one that I made had circles this big. Hold on, let me have a look. If I can get them out of this bag. And my fingers are not working. Here we go. Got it. So the original one that I had circles that were, I think these are roughly maybe 3/4 of an inch. And I think that's what I've put on there. No, it's 1 1/4. And they would sit on here like so. So I'm going to have a look and see which way I want this to go. So I've got this piece which is going to go onto the ends. And got this piece. Maybe this piece. Maybe these 2 pieces. Might put on here. Or I can go the other way and put these 2 smaller gold ones on. I'm not sure which way I like better. And then put these little pieces on the top. Turn that over. Oops. Fumble fingers this morning. Maybe I get a pair of tweezers might be helpful. Have I got some? Yes. Here we go. Take that off there. Oh, what's going on with my fingers today? They don't want to work. Or else I can have... Sit on there, please. Everything's getting stuck to my fingers. Okay, let's get this. No, they're not going to work either. Or I'd have that one on there. I think I need to go with the bigger one. So I'm going to go this way. I'm going to have a bigger dot on here. And then another one on this end. Okay, so let's just glue these pieces down on top of our gold piece. Just sort of center that onto there as best you can. Same thing again, if there's a little bit of glue comes out, we can just buff that off with a bit of a clean tissue afterwards. Put this one in the middle as well. I could press out another couple of these. Oh no, there might be a couple of little gold ones in here. There are. So what I might do is I might grab one of these. Put that in the center. Do the same with this one. Just a little dollop of glue on top. Pop that on there in the center. And then we're going to glue these onto the ends. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue here. Add this piece onto here, like so. Do the same on the opposite end. A little bit of glue. This one on here. Move these bits out the way. So now we're going to grab our hook and eye. So we want one of each. I'm going to put one in here. Grab another one of each of them. One on here. Oh, I know what we haven't done. Oh, we've missed a step, but that's okay. This will still work without it. So we're just going to put that aside for a moment. What we do need to do, these are our decorative pieces that we've created to go around the outside of our box. This is where the gold ties in. So these are 11 and a, well, these are probably 11 3/4. I think this one's 2.5 inches. Yeah, 2.5 inches by 2 inches. So the gold piece is 2.5 inches, the top piece is 2 inches. And they both should be around the 11, they'll either be 11 3/4 or they may even be 12, depending on which one I've got. So let's do our bottom piece first, which is this one. A little bit of glue that needs to go underneath here because this piece here hasn't stuck very well. I've just noticed, but that's okay, that will fit all right. So let's start with our bottom piece, which is this one. We're going to start from that's our bottom piece. We're going to start from here and glue this around. So we're going to need to put some glue on here. Now you do want a good amount of glue on this piece, and this will just make our box structurally really solid too. So we need to start from this bottom piece here. Oops, go in there. I'm just going to grab my piece from our join mark, and we're just going to curl this around onto our piece of our box. Just to go up just a little bit higher. Okay. Now I'm thinking, because this is not sticking like I want it to, I'm thinking that perhaps I might be better off to use a bit of double-sided tape alongside the glue, which would help to keep it on there. So let's grab some double-sided tape. I'm going to pull this up, pull up the little piece on the end. Make sure these are stuck right down. Pull this edge up. Okay, 1. 2. Now I'm still going to put some glue on here because I still need it to be a little bit movable so that I get it in the right spot. So I'm just adding a little bit of extra glue just to make sure this sits down properly. Okay, so we're after this bottom side, come off there. So let's put this piece on first, bring it around. Move it over just. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my foam folder, try and just get in here and just push this down a little bit just so that it sits on there nicely. And anything that comes, leave that there. Okay, so that should come round now. Oops, that needs to be folded in. That should go like so. And we're going to do this. I might just trim this piece down just a little bit. I just feel like this piece is just a little bit too long. So I'm just cutting off a very small amount, probably 1/8 of an inch. So that's our first bit done. Now let's do our second piece. So the same principle. I'm going to put my tape down first. Our protective piece. Add some glue as well, just to make sure these stay in place nicely. So now we're going to do the top half of our box. Now we will start from the hinged area. That piece hasn't sit down very well yet. I'll have to fix that one. So let's grab our other piece and we're going to centre it from our hinged area. So to centre it all the way down. So that fits on there nicely. I don't know why I'm having so many problems. I didn't have problems like this with the first one. So just a little bit more glue there, just to hold these pieces in place. Just let that sit there for a minute, hopefully catch. Okay. A little bit of glue on this one here because it's not adhered right at the top there. Swoosh that down. Okay, now we're getting, that's looking better. Okay, so now we've got our band on our box as well, and it brings our box together quite nicely. So the next part of this will be, just double check your box, make sure there's no areas that need a little extra glue. So I'm just finding here that I've got a couple of spots that do need a little bit of extra glue on them. Okay, so I've just done those. Now let's attach our hook and eyes. So these are already got glue on them. I'm going to make sure that this one sits about here. I'm just going to really push that on there really well. And then I'm going to take this one across here, make sure it sits nicely. And I'm going to undo this one and push this one on really well so that they both sit on there really nicely. We close it up. And here is our box. That bottom piece is still not sitting great for me. Oh, okay. Yep, this way. Okay, so the other thing that I have done for mine is I've taken our ephemera pack, which I'll just grab to show you. So this is one of our ephemera packs from the Lucky Country series, which is also the papers that we've used today. And I've just made this little, it's just a little embellishment, I suppose. I've added a few different elements to it. I did think about putting some of the gold on there, but I didn't think it was really needed. And I just thought we'd pop this in the centre here. And I'm just going to attach it to this gold bit here. So we definitely have a front of our go. Still having a little bit of problem with that base not sticking properly. So you will have to play with this a little bit to get it right and get it all to stick down nicely. Like I said, I'm just having a little bit of drama with the little bits that near the hinge. So I will definitely be playing with that to get that right. You could also, if you so desired, put some ribbon in here. So if I was going to do this, I was going to put ribbon in here to make it into like a bag. I would actually poke some holes through on this top side, add a nice piece of contrasting coloured ribbon, whether it be the burgundy colour or the gold, or even a bit of the green from that we've got in our packet, and I would add that. But today, this is the finished product from where I'm going to leave you to create what you would like to create with yours. I'm probably going to give this to somebody in my family who's got a birthday coming up, and I'll put their gift inside it, and this will be their box, and they can have that, display that in their room. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope I've covered everything. I will just before I go, I will grab the Lucky Country pad. I'll move this box out the way, and we will have a look at some of the different, so Australian, the Lucky Country collection. These are some of the other papers that you will get, and you get 3 of the same, so it's 3 of this one. So it's got this on one side and this on the back side. You've got 3 like this. Now I've used 2 of these already because we use this. I've used 2 of these already because this is the design that we used on our bag. This is another lovely piece. It's got this beautiful summery greens on the back of it. 3 of those. You've got this Australiana one. I really like this one here, but I'm just not quite sure what I'm going to do with that at this stage. But it's got all these great words on the back of it. So maybe I might create something like this to send overseas to somebody. And on top of that, we also have these beautiful little cutout cards that we can put to embellish some cards of their own. It's got this gorgeous summer gum leaf design on the other side of these. So obviously 3 of those. And then we've got these little cards, which have just got some little animals. You could make gift tags out of them. It also has some more of that gorgeous writing on the back, which is really quite lovely. And you've got 3 of those. And then we have these strips. I did think about using these strips on our bag, to be honest with you, because I think these are, yeah, they're 2-inch strips, so I probably could have used them in the centre of the bag, but I didn't do that this time. I just cut up from what I already had. Some of the other recommendations for this in particular paper, some of the contrasting papers that would go really well with these, is the rose, the burnt sienna, and chartreuse. Chartreuse, I think it's pronounced. They are all colours that will really match well with this. I'm a bit of a bling girl, so I like to add a little bit of sparkle to mine. So I added the bit of gold mirror board to it. Like I said, I hope you've really enjoyed this project. I've enjoyed creating it. I hope I didn't bugger it up too much when I put it together. Hope you were able to understand what I was getting at. Wishing you all the very best until our next video. Take care. Bye.